Hey, I'm Emma Larson, 30 years old, and let me tell you about the night my family's jaws hit the floor. They'd spent years mocking my so-called failed startup, thinking I was scraping by with some dumb idea. But at my parents' 35th wedding anniversary, in front of 200 of Seattle's elite, they learned I'm the CEO of their favorite luxury resort, Crystal Shores. If you've ever been laughed at for chasing your dreams, stick around, this one's for you. Drop a comment below telling me who doubted you, and smash that like button to see how I flipped the script. Growing up in Seattle's Queen Anne neighborhood, I was the black sheep in a family obsessed with status. My parents, David and Linda, ran Larson Properties, a decent real estate firm, and my younger brother Ethan was their golden boy. He got a free ride to the University of Washington, handed the keys to the family business. Me? I was the dreamer, selling handmade souvenirs to tourists at 16. Emma, stop playing with seashells and get a real job, my mom would snap. Ethan smirked. You gonna hawk trinkets forever? Their words stung, but I kept hustling. When I said I wanted to study tourism, my dad laughed. That's not a career, Emma. Don't embarrass us. They paid for Ethan's every whim but wouldn't spare a dime for my college. I worked 3 jobs to make it through. They didn't just doubt me, they buried me. But what they didn't know, I was building an empire. Keep watching to see how I made them eat their words. Alright, if you're still here after hearing how my family buried my dreams, let's dive deeper into the fire that fueled me. Drop a comment below. Who's the one person who told you your big idea was a joke? And if you're vibing with this story, hit that subscribe button to catch the moment my family's world turned upside down. Growing up in Seattle, I was always the oddball in the Larson clan. My parents, David and Linda, were all about keeping up appearances with their real estate business, Larson Properties. My brother Ethan, 2 years younger, was their pride and joy, the golden boy who could do no wrong. He sailed through the University of Washington on their dime, ready to inherit the family empire. Me? I was the kid sketching resort designs in my notebook, dreaming of creating unforgettable getaways. At 16, I started selling handmade souvenirs to tourists down at Pike Place Market. Made a few $100, enough to feel like I was onto something. But when I showed my parents the cash, my mom rolled her eyes. This is a hobby, Emma, not a future. Ethan chimed in. What's next, selling postcards on the street? Their laughter cut deep, but I tucked that pain away and kept pushing. When I announced I wanted to study tourism management at the University of Oregon, the dinner table went silent. My dad leaned back, arms crossed. That's not a real degree. You want to be a tour guide for the rest of your life. My mom added, look at Ethan, he's focused on business, real business. Don't waste our time. They refused to pay a cent for my college, saying it was a bad investment. Meanwhile, Ethan's tuition, housing, even his spring break trips to Cabo? All covered. I worked 3 jobs. Morning shifts as a hotel clerk, afternoons in class, and nights waiting tables at a swanky downtown restaurant. Grueling. Sure. But those late nights taught me more about hospitality than any textbook. I learned how to read guests, spot inefficiencies, and dream bigger than my family ever could. In my junior year, I met Professor Sarah Coleman, a tourism industry legend. She saw something in me my family never did, grit and vision. You don't just see hotels, Emma, she said after I pitched a resort redesign in class. You see experiences. With her mentorship, I landed an internship at Cascade Resorts, one of the top chains in the Pacific Northwest. While other interns were stuck fetching coffee, I was studying their operations, scribbling ideas to streamline guest services. One day, I left a proposal on the regional director's desk by mistake. Thought I'd get fired. Instead, he called me in. This is better than what my consultants churn out, he said, tapping my report. At 22, I was offered a full-time role as a junior manager. I called home buzzing with excitement. My mom's response? That's nice, but Ethan just closed his first property deal. My heart sank. I stopped sharing after that. They didn't know when I became the youngest resort manager at 25, or when I left to start my own company at 28. They had no clue I'd bought Crystal Shores, Seattle's faded gem, and turned it into the hottest luxury destination on the West Coast. To them, I was still the kid with a failed startup scraping by. But their anniversary party was about to change everything. Stick around, you won't believe what's coming next. If you're still with me after hearing how my family dismissed my dreams and I built an empire in the shadows, let's crank up the heat. Have you ever had someone laugh at your big plans, thinking you'd crash and burn? Drop that story in the comments. I'm reading every one. And if you're hooked, smash that subscribe button to see how I flip their doubts into a moment they'll never forget. By my late 20s, I turned Crystal Shores into Seattle's crown jewel, a luxury resort booked solid by tech moguls and celebrities. I own 5 more properties across the West Coast, each one a testament to the hustle my family never saw. They still thought I was floundering with a failed startup, maybe couch surfing to make ends meet. I didn't correct them, partly because they never asked and partly because their assumptions showed who they really were. My parents, David and Linda, were obsessed with their real estate firm's reputation, and my brother Ethan was their golden ticket, closing deals and basking in their praise. Me? I was the afterthought, the dreamer who'd never measure up. I poured my energy into my resorts, my staff becoming the family I chose. My right-hand man, Ryan Carter, my chief operations guy, was a former Navy officer with a knack for making guests feel like royalty. He knew my story and had my back for what was coming. When my mom texted about planning my parents' 35th wedding anniversary at the Pinnacle Crystal Shores Elite Restaurant, I nearly dropped my phone. They picked my resort, clueless that I owned it. "It's pricey, Emma," my mom wrote. "Don't embarrass us by offering to chip in. Ethan's got this." Ethan called later, his voice dripping with condescension. "Sis, you sure you can afford the valet? Don't show up looking like you just rolled out of a hostel." Their words burned, but I saw an opportunity. I replied, "I'll make it work," and got to planning. I called Sophia Bennett, my resort manager, and laid it out. "Sophia, my family's booking the anniversary party. They don't know I'm the CEO. Give them the grand ballroom, full VIP treatment, custom menu, my personal wine collection, the works. Quote them half the price, and I'll cover the rest anonymously." Sophia laughed. "This is gonna be epic. When do we spill the beans?" I grinned. "When the moment's right." Over the next month, I watched from afar as my mom haggled over the surprisingly reasonable rate, oblivious to my hand behind it. I had my chef craft a menu with my dad's favorite smoked salmon and my mom's beloved key lime pie. I even arranged a light show over Puget Sound to cap the night. Ethan kept texting, "Don't screw this up, Emma. This is a big deal for Mom and Dad." Each jab fueled me. The night of the party, I told Ryan to prep the staff and cue a video of my journey, from that 16-year-old selling souvenirs to the CEO of a multi-million-dollar empire. I'd arrive late, dressed to kill, and let the truth hit like a tidal wave. My family thought they were walking into their moment of glory, surrounded by 200 of Seattle's elite. They had no idea they were about to walk into mine. Keep watching, the showdown's next, and it's a game changer. All right, you're still here, and I bet you're itching to see how my family's smug grins crumbled when they realized I wasn't the failure they painted me as. If you've ever had someone scoff at your hustle, drop a comment below. Who was it, and how'd you prove them wrong? Smash that like button and subscribe to catch the fireworks, because this anniversary party at my resort, Crystal Shores, was about to become legendary. My parents' 35th wedding anniversary was the talk of Seattle's high society, with 200 guests, think tech CEOs, city council members, and even a few Seahawks players, packed into the grand ballroom of the Pinnacle, my resort's crown jewel restaurant. My mom, Linda, had been name-dropping the event for weeks, oblivious that she'd chosen my turf. She and my dad, David, thought their real estate firm's reputation was the star of the night, with my brother Ethan, their golden boy, footing half the bill to flex his success. They still saw me as the kid with a failed startup, barely scraping by. Ethan's last text before the party? "Emma, don't show up in flip-flops and ruin Mom's big night." My mom piled on, calling to say, "Just be there on time and don't make a scene. This is above your pay grade." Their words were like gasoline on my fire. I'd spent years building a multi-million-dollar empire in the shadows, and tonight, those shadows were about to burn bright. I'd orchestrated every detail like a chess master. My resort manager, Sophia Bennett, had the staff primed, custom menus with my dad's favorite smoked salmon, my mom's key lime pie for dessert, and a light show over Puget Sound I'd designed myself. I told Sophia to slash the bill by 60%, covering the rest from my own pocket, so my family thought they'd scored a deal at Seattle's hottest venue. My chief operations guy, Ryan Carter, had a video ready. A montage of my journey from selling souvenirs at 16 to owning 6 luxury resorts. I'd walk in late, dressed in a custom-made emerald gown that screamed power, and let the truth hit like a sledgehammer. As the party kicked off, I watched the security feeds from my private office overlooking the ballroom. My parents arrived 45 minutes early, my mom in a dated but polished Chanel suit, inspecting the crystal chandeliers like she owned the place. My dad, in his best tux, looked awed by the restored Art Deco details I'd spent millions perfecting. Ethan strutted in with his new girlfriend, Claire, both dripping in designer labels, acting like the night was their coronation. My mom gushed to guests about Ethan's latest property deal, while I caught her whispering, "Let's hope Emma doesn't embarrass us." Ethan scanned the room, probably checking for me, his smirk saying he expected me to slink in late, underdressed and out of place. I timed my entrance for maximum impact, stepping into the ballroom at 8:30, right as the first course was served. The room buzzed with chatter, glasses clinking and soft jazz from the live band. Heads turned as I crossed the marble floor, my heels clicking with purpose. Ethan spotted me first, his face twisting like he'd swallowed a lemon. He marched over, blocking my path to the head table, his voice loud enough to draw eyes. "Emma, what are you doing here looking like that? This isn't a costume party. You can't afford a place like this." My mom rushed up, her smile tight, hissing, "Don't cause a scene, Emma. We told you to blend in." Guests nearby paused, sensing drama. I smiled calmly, savoring the moment. "I'm exactly where I belong, Ethan. Maybe you should check your facts." Before Ethan could fire back, Ryan's voice boomed through the ballroom speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the visionary behind Crystal Shores, our CEO, Emma Larson." The room erupted in applause as the massive screens lit up with my video. Me at 16, hawking souvenirs at Pike Place. Me at 22, shaking hands at Cascade Resorts. Me at 28, cutting the ribbon at Crystal Shores grand opening. The final frame? Me in that same emerald gown, captioned, "Emma Larson, CEO, Larson Hospitality Group." The crowd roared, some standing to clap. My mom's face went white, her champagne flute trembling. Ethan froze, his girlfriend tugging his arm, confused. My dad's jaw dropped, his eyes darting between me and the screen. Sophia appeared, guiding me to the stage. I took the mic, my voice steady but electric. "Thank you all for celebrating my parents' 35th anniversary at Crystal Shores. This resort is my heart and soul, built from a dream my family once called a failure. To Mom, Dad, Ethan, I hope you enjoy the night. It's on me." The crowd cheered louder, but my family was a statue gallery. My mom sank into her chair, Ethan's face burned red, and my dad stared like he was seeing me for the first time. As I stepped off the stage, guests swarmed me with congratulations, while my family sat in stunned silence. The light show over Puget Sound began, painting the sky in blues and golds, but I knew the real fireworks were just starting. Stick around. You won't believe how they reacted when the dust settled. You're still here, and I bet you're buzzing from that ballroom bombshell where I dropped the truth on my family in front of 200 of Seattle's elite. If you've ever dreamed of proving your doubters wrong, drop a comment below. What's your moment of triumph? Hit that like button and subscribe to see how my family scrambled to process that I'm the CEO of Crystal Shores, their so-called unaffordable resort. The fireworks weren't over yet. As the light show over Puget Sound painted the sky, the grand ballroom hummed with energy. Guests swarmed me with handshakes and questions about my resorts, their voices drowning out the jazz band. My family, though, was a different story. My mom, Linda, sat rigid, clutching her champagne flute like it was a lifeline, her face a mix of shock and something sharper, betrayal maybe. My brother Ethan, red-faced, whispered furiously to his girlfriend, Claire, who looked like she wanted to bolt. My dad, David, kept staring at me, his expression caught between awe and guilt. The 200 guests didn't notice their meltdown, but I did. Every glance from my family felt like a silent question. How did we miss this? I rejoined the head table, sliding into my seat with a calm smile. My mom leaned in, her voice low but biting. Emma, why didn't you tell us? You let us think you were struggling. Do you know how humiliating this is? Ethan jumped in louder, drawing eyes. This was a stunt, wasn't it? You set us up to look like idiots. I took a sip of wine, letting their words hang. I didn't set you up, I said evenly. You assumed I was a failure. I just let you believe what you wanted. My dad, quiet until now, cleared his throat. Emma, we had no idea. This place, it's incredible. His voice cracked, and for the first time I saw pride in his eyes, not pity. The rest of the dinner was a surreal dance. Guests toasted my parents' 35th anniversary, but the spotlight kept drifting to me. A tech mogul asked about my expansion plans. A councilwoman pitched a charity gala at Crystal Shores. My mom tried to pivot, boasting about Ethan's latest property deal, but her voice faltered when a guest cut in. Linda, your daughter's the real deal. Ethan excused himself before dessert, claiming a work call, but I caught his scowl as he left. Claire trailed after him, throwing me an awkward wave. My mom stayed glued to her seat, forcing smiles that didn't reach her eyes. My dad, though, lingered by me during the key lime pie course, asking quiet questions about the resort's design. You did all this yourself? He murmured, tracing the table's edge. Pretty much, I said. With a great team. He nodded, eyes distant. We should have known. As the party wound down at midnight, I instructed Sophia, my resort manager, to send guests home with custom gift bags, locally sourced coffee, artisanal chocolates, and a voucher for a future stay. My parents and Ethan got the same, though I doubted Ethan would use his. My dad pulled me aside as guests trickled out, his hand heavy on my shoulder. I'm proud of you, Emma. I was wrong to doubt you. It was the first time he'd ever said those words, and they hit harder than I expected. I nodded, throat tight. Thanks, Dad. My mom, though, wasn't ready for warm fuzzies. She approached, arms crossed. We need to talk, Emma. As a family. You can't just spring this on us and expect everything to be fine. Her tone was sharp, but I held her gaze. I'm open to talking, Mom, but not until you're ready to listen. She flinched, then walked away, my dad trailing her with a sigh. Ethan texted me at 2 a.m, a wall of angry words. You think you're better than us now? Enjoy your little show, but don't expect me to clap. I didn't reply. Instead, I poured a glass of my private reserve Pinot Noir and sat in my penthouse office, the Seattle skyline glittering below. Ryan, my chief operations guy, knocked and joined me, loosening his tie. That was one for the books, he said, grinning. How you holding up? I swirled my wine, feeling the weight of the night. Vindicated, but heavy. They didn't just doubt me, Ryan. They erased me. He nodded, no judgment. What's next? I leaned back, certain for the first time. Boundaries. Real ones. No more playing small to make them comfortable. The next morning, my phone lit up with missed calls. 7 from my mom, 3 from Ethan, and a single voicemail from my dad. Emma, I owe you an apology. Let's talk when you're ready. My mom's text demanded a family meeting. Ethan's accused me of stabbing them in the back. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I called Dr. Olivia Grant, my therapist, and booked an emergency session. The night had been a win, but it cracked open years of hurt. I wasn't chasing revenge anymore. I wanted respect, starting with myself. The real work was just beginning, and it was going to be messy. Keep watching. You won't believe how this family drama unfolds. You're still here, riding the wave of that epic showdown where I revealed I'm the CEO of Crystal Shores, leaving my family speechless in front of 200 of Seattle's elite. If you've ever had to rebuild trust with people who doubted you, drop a comment below. How did you navigate that mess? Smash that like button and subscribe to see how I tackled the fallout from my parents' 35th anniversary party. Because the drama didn't end when the lights over Puget Sound faded. The morning after the party, my penthouse office felt like a fortress. The Seattle skyline a quiet reminder of everything I'd built despite my family's scorn. My phone was a war zone. 7 missed calls from my mom, Linda, 3 from my brother, Ethan, and a voicemail from my dad, David, that I replayed twice. Emma, I owe you an apology, he said, his voice heavy. Let's talk when you're ready. My mom's text demanded a family meeting, her words sharp. You can't humiliate us like this and walk away. Ethan's messages were pure venom. You think you're the big shot now? This isn't over. I set the phone down, my victory from last night tinged with exhaustion. Proving them wrong felt good. But the hurt they'd caused over decades wasn't erased by one mic drop moment. I needed a plan not just for them but for me. I met with Dr. Olivia Grant, my therapist, that afternoon in her office overlooking Lake Union. You've reclaimed your narrative, she said. But what do you want from your family now? It was a hard question. I didn't want their groveling or their sudden pride. I wanted respect, the kind they'd never given me. Dr. Grant suggested a facilitated family meeting, neutral ground, to set boundaries and start fresh. I agreed, but first I needed to handle the immediate fallout. I texted my dad. I'm ready to talk. Tomorrow 1 o'clock, my office at Crystal Shores. Just you. He replied instantly. I'll be there. My mom and Ethan? They'd have to wait. The next day, my dad arrived 10 minutes early, his suit crisp but his eyes tired. My resort manager, Sophia, escorted him to my office, where I'd set out coffee and his favorite oatmeal cookies from a local bakery. He took in the view, Elliott Bay sparkling below, and shook his head. This place, Emma. It's something else. We sat, and an awkward silence stretched between us, years of missed connections heavy in the air. He spoke first. I failed you. We all did. When you told us about your internship, your first job, I brushed it off. I thought you were chasing a pipe dream. His honesty caught me off guard. I tried sharing, Dad, I said, keeping my voice steady. When I got promoted at 25, Mom said it was cute. When I started my company, you asked if I had a real backup plan. After a while, I stopped trying. He winced, nodding. We saw Ethan's path. Real estate steady, and we understood it. Your dreams scared us. We were wrong. That admission, raw and unpolished, hit me hard. I blinked back tears, not wanting to unravel. I didn't hide my success to hurt you, I said. I hid it because it was easier than being dismissed. He reached across the table, his hand hovering before settling on mine. I see you now, Emma. I'm so damn proud. We talked for an hour, not fixing everything but starting. He asked about my resorts, genuinely curious, and I shared details I'd never thought he'd care about. As he left, he hugged me, something he hadn't done since I was a kid. Your mom's struggling, he warned. Give her time. My mom wasn't ready to bend. She showed up unannounced at Crystal Shores the next morning, expecting to be ushered straight to me. Sophia, ever professional, greeted her. Mrs. Larson, do you have an appointment? My mom's indignation crackled through the security feed I watched. I'm her mother. I don't need an appointment. Sophia held firm. Miss Larson's in meetings, but I can schedule you for tomorrow. My mom stormed out, texting me. This is unacceptable, Emma. We're talking today. I called her back, calm but firm. Mom, I run a business. You can't barge in like you own it. Make an appointment and we'll talk. She sputtered. Would I need an appointment to see Ethan at his office? I didn't miss a beat. If you showed up unannounced, yeah, you would. Silence. Then, grudgingly, she agreed to meet the next week with Dr. Grant present. Ethan was trickier. He showed up at my resort that afternoon with Claire, asking for a tour of my sister's amazing empire. His sudden enthusiasm reeked of opportunism. As I showed them the rooftop garden, he probed about profit margins and VIP clients, then pitched a family deal for his firm's events. Come on, Emma, hook us up, he said, smirking. I shut it down. My pricing's the same for everyone, Ethan. Your firm can book through our events team like any client. His smile faded, and Claire shifted uncomfortably. It's just business, I added, and I keep family separate. He nodded, but his eyes said he wasn't done pushing. As they left, he muttered, We'll talk soon. I wasn't holding my breath. The real test was coming. A family meeting where old wounds would surface. Stick around. You won't believe how it shakes out. You're still riding this roller coaster with me. And I bet you're wondering how my family handled the truth after I dropped the CEO bomb at their 35th anniversary bash. If you've ever tried mending ties with people who underestimated you, drop a comment below. What was the toughest part? Hit that like button and subscribe to see how I navigated the messy aftermath at Crystal Shores, because rebuilding with my family was no fairy tale. After Ethan's opportunistic tour and my mom's failed power play at my resort, I knew the real work was ahead. My dad's heartfelt talk had cracked open a door, but my mom, Linda, and brother Ethan were still wrestling with their bruised egos. My phone kept buzzing, 5 more texts from my mom demanding a family meeting, 2 from Ethan accusing me of showing off, and a quiet email from my dad. I meant what I said, Emma. I'm here when you're ready. I wasn't rushing into their chaos. I'd spent years building a multi-million-dollar empire despite their doubts, and I wasn't about to let them dictate the terms now. Dr. Olivia Grant, my therapist, had urged me to set clear boundaries, so I booked a facilitated family meeting at her office, a neutral space away from my resort or their real estate firm. It was time to rewrite how we dealt with each other. The meeting was set for a rainy Seattle afternoon, 1 week after the party. Dr. Grant's office, with its view of Lake Union, felt calm but charged, like the air before a storm. I arrived early, dressed in a simple blazer and jeans, ready to be honest but firm. My dad showed up next, giving me a small smile that carried the weight of our last talk. My mom swept in 5 minutes late, her tailored coat and tight expression screaming defiance. Ethan slouched in last, avoiding my eyes, his girlfriend Claire absent this time. Dr. Grant laid out the rules. No interrupting, no attacks, focus on I statements. We're here to build healthier communication, she said, not to rehash old fights. My mom's skeptical glance said she wasn't buying it, but she nodded. I went first, keeping my voice steady. Growing up, I felt invisible next to Ethan. You celebrated his every win, his college acceptance, his first deal, but my dreams were called childish. When I sold souvenirs at 16, you laughed. When I got my first management job at 25, you changed the subject to Ethan's new car. I worked 3 jobs to pay for college while you covered Ethan's everything. I stopped sharing because it hurt too much to be dismissed. The room was silent, my words landing like stones. Dr. Grant turned to my mom. Linda, how do you respond? My mom straightened, her voice clipped. We wanted the best for both of you. Your ideas selling trinkets tourism seemed risky. Ethan's path was stable like our business. We were protecting you. I shook my head. It wasn't protection. It was assumption. You decided I'd fail before I even tried. My dad shifted, uncomfortable. We did treat you differently, he admitted. We paid for Ethan's college, his car, his apartment. You got nothing. That wasn't fair. My mom's eyes flashed betrayal, but he continued. We thought you were fine, Emma. You always seemed so independent. Independent because I had to be, I said, my tone firm but not angry. And then you used that against me like I didn't need support. Ethan finally spoke, his voice sharp. So you hid your resorts to what, punish us? Make us look stupid in front of 200 people. I met his gaze. I didn't hide to hurt you. I hid because you never asked. Not once. Dr. Grant stepped in, guiding us to the present. Emma, what do you want moving forward? I took a breath. Respect. No more comparisons to Ethan. No more assuming I'm less. I'll be honest about my life, but I won't tolerate being minimized. The meeting stretched for 2 hours, raw and uneven. My mom admitted she'd favored Ethan, fearing my unconventional path would leave me broke. I didn't know how to handle your ambition, she said, her voice breaking. Ethan stayed defensive, but a crack showed when he mumbled. I didn't realize how much we got wrong. My dad was the bridge, acknowledging their mistakes and asking how to rebuild. We agreed on new rules. No unsolicited advice, no leveraging my success for their gain, and individual talks before group ones. Dr. Grant suggested a follow-up in 1 month. After the meeting, my dad lingered. I'm learning, Emma. Your resorts. Can I see more of what you do? I nodded, a small warmth growing. My mom sent a stiff text later. I need time, but I'll try. Ethan emailed 2 days later, short but real. I was a jerk. Can we grab coffee? I replied. 1 step at a time. The road ahead was bumpy, but it was a start. I wasn't chasing their approval anymore. I was building a relationship on my terms. Keep watching. You won't believe what's next when I take my empire to new heights. You're still with me, and I bet you're feeling the weight of that raw family meeting where I laid out years of hurt and started carving out new boundaries. If you've ever had to reset a relationship with someone who didn't see your worth, drop a comment below. What was the hardest step? Smash that like button and subscribe to see how I kept rebuilding with my family while taking my empire to the next level. Because the story didn't stop at Crystal Shores. That rainy Seattle afternoon with Dr. Olivia Grant marked a turning point. But it wasn't a magic fix. My dad's willingness to listen, my mom's reluctant admission, and Ethan's grudging apology were fragile first steps. Back at my penthouse, overlooking the glittering skyline, I felt a mix of hope and caution. I'd spent decades proving myself despite their doubts, building a hospitality empire with 6 luxury resorts, including Seattle's crown jewel, Crystal Shores. Now I was navigating uncharted waters, a family that finally saw me, but didn't know how to act. My chief operations guy, Ryan Carter, joined me for a late-night debrief, pouring 2 glasses of my private reserve Pinot Noir. "Family meeting went better than I expected," he said, raising his glass. "What's your next move?" I swirled my wine, resolute. Keep the boundaries firm, but give them a chance to show up. And focus on what I can control. My resorts, my vision. Over the next 2 weeks, I tested those boundaries. My dad kept his word, texting to ask about my latest project, a new resort opening in Portland. I invited him to tour Crystal Shores operations, and he showed up, notepad in hand, asking about guest retention rates like he was prepping for a board meeting. "You've built something special," he said, standing in the rooftop garden I designed. I wish I'd seen it sooner. His sincerity chipped away at years of distance, but I stayed cautious. Words were easy, consistency was harder. My mom, Linda, was slower to shift. She sent a handwritten note, stiff but earnest. "Your resort is impressive. I'd like to learn more when you're free." I scheduled a lunch, one-on-one, at a quiet cafe near Pike Place Market. She arrived 10 minutes early, a first, but her questions about my business felt rehearsed, like she was checking a box. "I'm trying, Emma," she said when I called it out. "It's not easy to rethink 30 years. I nodded, giving her space but holding my line. "I need actions, not just effort." Ethan was the wild card. His coffee invite came 3 days after the family meeting, and I met him at a Fremont cafe, neutral ground. He looked uneasy, no trace of his usual swagger. "I was a jerk," he admitted, stirring his latte. "I thought you were. I don't know, chasing fantasies. I didn't get it." I leaned back, studying him. "You didn't ask, Ethan. You just assumed I was failing." He nodded, a rare moment of humility. "Your resorts, they're legit. I looked you up, 6 properties, millions in revenue. How do you do it?" For the first time, we talked like equals, not rivals. I shared my grind, 3 jobs in college, late nights at Cascade Resorts, risking everything to buy Crystal Shores at 28. He listened, then offered a tentative olive branch. "Maybe I could learn from you." I didn't trust it fully, but agreed to keep talking, 1 coffee at a time. While my family inched forward, I poured energy into my empire. The Portland Resort's opening was 6 weeks away. A 7-figure investment with a rooftop infinity pool and eco-friendly design. I promoted Ryan to oversee all 6 properties, giving him a 20% stake in future profits. He'd earned it. My dad's tour inspired me to invite my family to the Portland opening, a test of their new dynamic. My mom agreed to come, promising no suggestions about my business. Ethan asked to bring Claire, saying he wanted to support me. My dad was all in, even offering to help with local contacts. I accepted, but told Sophia, my resort manager, to keep an eye on them. No VIP treatment beyond standard guest perks. Dr. Grant helped me prep for the event, reminding me to hold my boundaries. "You're not responsible for their feelings," she said. "Just your own clarity." I nodded, feeling grounded. The family meeting had unearthed old wounds, but it also gave me tools to build something new. My mom's note, Ethan's coffee chat, my dad's curiosity. They weren't perfect, but they were progress. I wasn't chasing their approval anymore. I was offering a chance to know the real me, CEO of a hospitality empire, not the dreamer they dismissed. The Portland opening loomed, a chance to showcase my vision and test my family's commitment. But something bigger was brewing. A project that would change lives beyond my own. Keep watching. You won't believe how I turned my story into a movement. You're still here, watching my family take baby steps toward respect after years of doubting me. If you've ever turned pain into purpose, drop a comment below. How'd you do it? Hit that like button and subscribe to see how I took my story beyond Crystal Shores. With my family slowly shifting, my dad's genuine interest, my mom's cautious effort, and Ethan's tentative outreach, I focused on a bigger mission. 6 weeks after that raw meeting with Dr. Grant, I launched the Larson Future Leaders Fund, a scholarship and mentorship program for young women chasing dreams in hospitality. I'd faced enough you can't to know how it stings, so I poured $2 million into helping others defy their doubters. Our first 10 scholars, all from Seattle's underserved communities, started their journeys, paired with mentors like my old professor, Sarah Coleman. I hosted a kickoff event at Crystal Shores, inviting 100 industry leaders. One scholar, Mia, a 19-year-old with a knack for event planning, shared her story. Her family called her dreams foolish, but my fund gave her a shot. Her words hit me hard. I saw myself in her fight. The crowd gave her a standing ovation, and I knew this was bigger than my resorts. My dad attended, beaming with pride. My mom clapped politely, later admitting, "I didn't realize you cared about more than profits." Ethan asked smart questions about the fund's structure, a sign he was trying. The Portland resort opening loomed, my family set to attend. But the fund's launch showed me my real legacy: lifting others up. Keep watching, the finale's coming, and it's packed with lessons for your own dreams. You're still here, inspired by how I turned doubt into a movement with the Larson Future Leaders Fund. If you've ever risen above naysayers, drop your story in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe, and share to spread this vibe. Let's dive into the finale. The Portland resort opening was a triumph, with 500 guests marveling at my eco-friendly design. My family showed up: my dad, Linda, Ethan, and Claire, and for the first time they didn't overshadow me. My dad toasted my vision, my mom praised the decor without caveats, and Ethan asked about my expansion plans, no smirk in sight. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress, built on the boundaries I'd set with Dr. Grant's help. Their respect felt good, but I no longer needed it to shine. Here's the truth: the best revenge isn't making doubters sorry. It's living your dreams so fiercely their opinions don't matter. Want to do the same? 1. Set firm boundaries with those who dim your light. 2. Find mentors like Sarah Coleman who see your spark. 3. Turn doubt into fuel, not to prove others wrong but to prove yourself right. My fund's 10 scholars like Mia remind me daily: your worth isn't tied to anyone's approval. My empire's growing, 7 resorts now, with plans for 10 by 2027. My family's learning to see me, and I'm open to rebuilding, one honest step at a time. What's your dream and who's tried to squash it? Share below and let's lift each other up. Hit subscribe for more stories of turning you can't into I did. True success isn't their applause. It's the life you build on your terms. Keep chasing yours.